Hold on, queens. I've got a message for you. This is the legal stuff. You know, the stuff the lawyers say I must tell you. So remember, this broadcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. I am just your friend. I am not a licensed therapist, and this broadcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professional. Got it? Great. Hello, sister queens. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, queens. Welcome, welcome. Come on in, ladies. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. And let's talk. Come on in, ladies. Come on in. I see we have a couple of people on. We're going to give you a moment to jump on with us, and we're going to go ahead and get started with a magnificent guest. So I can't wait for you to hear this beautiful queen. Hey, Alicia, how are you? How are you? We can't wait for you ladies to come on and hear what this beautiful queen has to say. So come on in, come on in, come on in. Hey, ladies, let me know who you are when you come in. Give me some thumbs up so that I know that you can hear me. And hopefully we have everything straight with all of the technical difficulties from my carrier. So we hope that's all taken care of. So let me know, ladies, if you hear any breakups or any hiccups or anything like that. So, we'll know what's going on. But give me some thumbs, ladies. Let me know you're here. Hey, ladies. Hey, ladies. Hey, ladies. How you doing? How you doing? All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so very much for joining me for our fourth episode in our 2025 Women's History Month series of Let's Talk. Yes, yes, yes. I am just so honored that you would take time out of your busy schedules to join us. Again, let's see who we have on. Hey, Kay, thanks for watching. Hey, Tracy. Thanks for watching. Ladies, drop some hearts in there, some thumbs up. Let me know that you're on. And thank you, everyone that tunes in and tells people about it. And we're just so excited. So thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us for our fourth episode of Let's Talk. Also, ladies, if you could do me a humongous favor, if you could tag another queen and share this live to your pages, we would greatly appreciate that. So tag, 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 and share, share, share. So we have other wonderful queens out here that can also jump in and hear all this wonderful information that this amazing queen is going to share with us. But first, we're going to take care of some housekeeping. Okay. All right, ladies. Don't forget, we will be giving away 2 prizes during tonight's show. But you must be present to win. We'll be giving away 2 $25 Visa cards. Now, however, in order for your name to be entered into the drawing, you must type local. That's LOCAL, local, in the comments for your entry to be calculated. Remember, again, the word is local, LOCAL. This allows you to enter it. Oh, yeah, got to put a hashtag in front of it. I'm sorry, ladies. That's hashtag local, LOCAL, hashtag local, for your comments to be entered into the drawing to be able to win 2, or it'll be 1 each, of our $25 Visa gift cards. And then they're the Sister Queen gift cards. So they're so cute. All right, ladies. Secondly, if you didn't know, Sister Queens Positivity Movement is celebrating 2 years of sisterhood. Woo woo! We are dedicated to empowering, uplifting, and inspiring women to embrace their full potential. We strive to create a supportive community where every queen is encouraged to shine, overcome challenges, and step into their greatness, knowing that together we rise, thrive, and transform the world with strength, unity, and unstoppable confidence. Thirdly, ladies, in honor of our second anniversaries, let me tell you what the Sister Queens did. We came together to give back and make a meaningful impact. This year, we hosted a spectacular day of service at Grace House Ministries, giving hope and love to the incredible girls in foster care. Let me tell you this. As a reminder, our goal was just to raise $5,000 for much needed products and services to support these young queens and provide them with the essentials they need to thrive. However, thanks to you, our amazing queens, we surpassed that goal and we raised an incredible $7,442. Let me repeat that total. That was $7,442. A heartfelt thank you to our amazing sister queens. Now, we also have a wonderful partnership with Winn-Dixie in Fultondale, and we'll be collecting their very generous donation at the end of Women's History Month. So you'll see all of those wonderful products that they'll be giving back to Grace House Ministries also. So thank you so much to everyone who donated to this cause. You are greatly appreciated and deeply loved. All right. What I want you to do as well, we're going to post a video in Sister Queens, and it's going to show how our day went. We have one in there, and we want you to see the next one, and you'll get to see all of the amazing products that were purchased with your generous donations and the positive impact that it had on these amazing young queens. So, ladies, again, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But let me tell you this. After unloading all of the wonderful donated products, we spent time with the girls, sharing a meal, creating vision boards, and inspiring them to dream big and envision their futures. Ladies, this anniversary celebration was one that left a lasting impact. Your generosity brought hope, encouragement, and empowerment to these girls in foster care. Let me tell you what happened today, though. We even received texts from the administrators stating that the girls said that the Sister Queens were the best group that had ever visited them. Yes, ladies, yes, you did that. And lastly, to the nearly 4,700 sister queens who have joined our movement of positivity, I want to express my deepest gratitude for your incredible support. Your presence brings so much light and joy to our community, and your commitment, I tell you, to spreading positivity is truly inspiring. Together, we are creating a ripple effect of kindness and empowerment. Thank you, Sister Queens, for being an integral part of this journey towards a better and more uplifting world. All right, ladies, now that we've gotten all of that out of the way, let's get started. Sister Queens welcome Tereshia Huffman, Chairwoman, Birmingham Waterworks, and Community Champion. Tereshia Huffman, a Birmingham native, has built an esteemed career in public service, leaving a profound impact on the communities she serves. Huffman's career began in Atlanta, where she worked alongside esteemed leaders, including Mayor Kasim Reed and CEO Michael Thurman. She played a pivotal role in managing initiatives spanning transportation, water infrastructure, public safety, and child welfare, contributing to projects that directly improved urban communities. Upon returning to Birmingham in 2019, Huffman continued her mission of service with unwavering dedication and tangible results. Huffman's passion for children's welfare is a defining aspect of her service. She has secured funding and implemented critical programs to combat childhood food insecurity while also advocating for thousands of abused and neglected children in state custody. As Vice President of the Serenity Grace Transitional Housing Board, she supports full-time foster care services and emotional development for adolescent teens in Huntsville, Alabama. In her former role as Student Outreach Manager for Birmingham Promise, she guided Birmingham City School students in identifying and achieving post-secondary opportunities. Currently, as Director of Community Outreach for Faith Chapel, Huffman spearheads initiatives focused on homelessness, community revitalization, and youth mentorship, ensuring underserved populations have access to vital resources and opportunities. Appointed by the Birmingham City Council in December 2020, Huffman made history in January 2022 as the youngest and second ever female to chair the Birmingham Waterworks Board. Huffman is currently serving her third term as chairwoman. Huffman holds a Bachelor of Arts in English Literature and Public Relations from the University of Alabama and is furthering her education at the Birmingham School of Law. She is a proud member of 𝗬𝗂 Sorority Incorporated and a devoted aunt to Jaden, Hayden, Caden, Hope, and Mason. Join us, Sister Queens, in extending a warm welcome to Tereshia Huffman as she joins Let's Talk. Hey.
Hi, Mrs. Handy.
Hi. Ladies, if you're just joining us, I want to welcome you again to our fourth episode of our Women's History Month series with our special guest, Tereshia Huffman. Welcome again, Queen Tereshia. We are so honored to have you as a guest on Let's Talk. Yes. So let's show Tereshia some love, ladies, with some hearts. Let's throw some hearts up for Tereshia. Yes, Tereshia. Yes, that's my baby girl too. So, and she gorgeous, y'all.
You go back.
All right, ladies. Thank you again, Tereshia, for agreeing to be a part of Women's History Month series. For that, I am just so grateful. Thank you, sweetheart.
Well, thank you for having me on, and congratulations to the amount of money y'all raised for Grace House.
Yes.
That is amazing. They are we partner with them at Faith Chapel. They are one of the organizations that we give back to. We did a big Christmas initiative around children in foster care, and they were one of the people who benefit from it. So thank you for spreading awareness, and thank you for all that you're doing to help those young girls. It's amazing.
It was. When I say we had so much fun with those girls, you don't know people's stories. So, and when we got there, we weren't trying to just be so intrusive. We just wanted to have fun with them, and enjoy them. And we did. We had a ball. We ate, we laughed, we danced, we talked. We just had an amazing time with those awesome young ladies. And they're ready for us to come back. So they were like, you all can come back anytime you're ready. I'm like, and we'll be back. Because with the Winn-Dixie initiative, they're going, with them partnering with us, they're giving us a lot of supplies as well. So we'll be taking those back over to them on top of what we did, and we gave them so many supplies. So again, it would not have been possible without these amazing sister queens that did give $7,442. So thank you again, ladies. Tereshia, thank you all for what you're doing for this amazingly good ministry.
Yes, it is. Thank you. And I'm claiming that y'all are going to raise more. I'm claiming 10,000. So You're gonna do it.
Yes.
Y'all are gonna do
We're going to do it. We're going to
it. Yes.
do it. We're going to keep giving to these babies because they are just so deserving. They are just so deserving. All right, my sweet love, we're going to get right to it.
Let's get
So
to it.
let's get into these interview questions.
All
And
right.
before we delve into tonight's questions, let me ask you this. Why do you feel it is so vitally important in today's climate that we become actively involved in our communities?
Well, when you say you, I'm going to go with as in you as in a Black woman. This is a show about sister queens. We highlight
Absolutely.
Women's History Month. Black women have been carrying families in the neighborhoods and communities for so long. And although we've been doing the work to carry the communities and the families, our voices have been missing at the table where major decisions are being made that affect our families, that affect our schools, that affect our neighborhoods. And so it's pivotal that we step in, and we saw with the election with Kamala. And I just think it's amazing. A lot of people I don't like to focus on the loss, but it'd be amazing that we had this Black woman, where she came from, what she stood for, and the hope that she gave to young Black girls to show that they are deserving. And regardless of what the country said, there isn't a ceiling for us, that she gave us hope, and she gave those young Black girls hope to aspire to be something larger. And I think that we just have to keep demonstrating that to young Black girls, but also being a circle of Black women who encourage women, embrace strengths, and allow us to come together to collectively make change in our communities.
Girl, you better say it. That's right. That's right, my girl. That's right. That is so right. Everything you said was so on point. It is so on point. I mean, we as Black women have to promote each other, uplift each other, encourage each other, support each other, have positivity around each other, and not even let others bring negativity into our communities, into our circles. So you are absolutely right. Absolutely right. Thank you, my sweet love. That was amazing. Now, let me go into your next question.
Okay.
Your advocacy, advocacy. I'm gonna get it right. Advocacy.
It's been a long day, it's okay.
I got it now. Advocacy. Your advocacy work is so inspiring. What sparked your interest in community activism? And then what keeps you going despite any of your challenges or all of your challenges?
We'll start with what inspired me to get into this work. I'm going to say God,
Yes.
because I had a plan. And God said, I heard your plan, but I got a better plan. So I thought I was going to graduate college and go to Africa and do Teachers for Africa and teach little Black girls how to speak English. And that was going to be my thing. But growing up, I saw my mom. I was raised by a single mom, on the east side of 𝗬𝙂, where I know you from 𝗬𝙊, but 𝗬𝙂. Raised in 𝗬𝙂, and my mom was a single mom to 4 children, and I saw how fiercely she advocated for her children to have better access to schools, to have different type of programs. Like, my mom made sure we were involved in every extracurricular activity. She made sure that we were a part of the PAT leagues that they just brought back, but I also saw her fight for equitable education for us. And I didn't understand what better schools meant. I just wanted to be around my friends, but I saw my mom fighting not only for us, but fighting for children in foster care. My mom has always worked with children in foster care.
Oh, wow.
And so being and seeing that, and when I graduated college, and I had this plan, but then ended up moving to Georgia and starting my career, it brought me back to God has a way of circling you back to remind you of why you're here and what your purposes should be. And God took me back to places where we were most vulnerable and where we needed people to reach back to us, and allowed me to shine light on those barriers that separated us from having the success that most privileged people should have, most privileged have and share in. And what my career then became is being a voice at those tables where I needed people to fight for me as a child.
Yes.
That's how it started. Yeah.
That is so good. And then, but what keeps you going despite any of those challenges? What makes you just keep going? Like, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep fighting.
So since, this, we focusing on Women's History Month, I'm going to focus on the Black women issue. I just being able to work on large scale projects, infrastructure projects in Atlanta, really provided a light for me of inequities in as far as representation.
Mm-hmm.
At those tables, whether it was a transportation, a public safety, or infrastructure, I was usually one of the few women, one of the few Black women, and in all cases, the youngest woman at the table. But again, the decisions that we were making were affecting families, they were affecting schools, they were affecting neighborhoods, they were affecting businesses, but where we weren't at the table to make those decisions. And so I remember when I was working on the Atlanta streetcar project, and my deputy commissioner was a white Australian guy, and we had these Black businesses come up to City Hall wanting to boycott. And we went down and walked that 2.7 streetcar mile, talking to every business and, making it about minority participation. And one thing I would credit Kssim Reed to, he was huge. Like, there wasn't going to be a decision made if he wasn't pleased with what that minority participation number looked like.
Okay.
And that showed me at that time, like, the power of us, that this man is saying this project is not going to move if my numbers ain't looking the way I want them to look. And when it came to hiring and creating positions and creating a department and making sure that the project was on time and deliver, I made sure that I was intentional about how can we create more spaces for Black women. And that continued. And then my work on the Waterworks Board, being the second woman elected as chair, the youngest woman, and my priority, one of my priorities has been creating, increasing spaces for Black women, exposing spaces like these to Black women, because a lot of times we don't even know about these opportunities that are available. It's like almost like hidden secrets, and making a way where I can bring like a Black female realtor to the board so that she can represent, making where we make it where a Black engineer becomes a prime and where she can bid on large scale projects, making it where Black women are promoted and given spaces. So just finding spaces, like anywhere that I could find a Black woman, whether that's on a bond transaction, a $200 million bond transaction, and making sure that we create a space saying, hey, I'm not happy until I can see some Black women here, the minority participation is here, and just staying true to that and allowing myself to remember where I was and when I was only one of the few at the table.
Girl, yes. Now, let me ask you this. Now, I'm veering off a little bit from what I sent you, but let me ask you this. With that, and you being the youngest and the only Black a lot in these circles, how has this, and it may not have as of yet, how has this new DEI rollback affected you, or what you're seeing around you when it comes to the Birmingham Waterworks Board?
DEI, I saw my friend D is lightly, so I'm trying to tread on this lightly. DEI has not benefited Black women the most.
Okay.
And so
who has it benefited the most? Okay.
We have not been the benefactors of the DEI. And so I don't allow myself to get focused on that. What I do allow myself to say, let me see where the numbers are when I first came to the board. Let's do temperature checks to see where we are. What can we do to intentionally increase? So whether that's launching a disparity studies to see where the gaps are, whether that's expanding our hub program to apply to more than just engineering. And just like I said, creating spaces where can a Black woman go? And making sure I do that, because if I depend on how the nation defines minority participation, it's not going to look like what I want it to look like for me. It's not going to mirror what representation looks like for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I totally agree. That's why even with this going on right now, it doesn't affect me mentally or stop me from trying to, or not trying, doing whatever it is I need to do, because I know we are not the biggest, we never have been the largest benefactors of it. So we are just basically continuing to do what we've always done from the beginning, and just not veer from that. So, I mean, we've always been, I got to go get it. I got to do it. I got to be the smartest one in the room. I have to be the talented one. We know that anyway. So we're not veering from that, regardless to whatever it is they decide to do with it. So, so I was just wondering, how has it affected, the Waterworks Board? Okay, good. Now, let me ask you this. You have been the voice for so many, like you said, when it comes to foster care and being on different boards and working in Atlanta with infrastructure and all of that. Can you share a powerful success story that reminds you why this work is so important?
Okay, let's see. I feel like I have a couple.
We'll listen to both.
Okay, I'm gonna give you two.
Okay.
So I remember when I was working for Birmingham Promise, and I was student outreach manager. I had a student at Huffman High School. Was, shout out to Dr. Hackett, the counselor over there, who always made herself available. But we had a student that she wanted me to speak with. I believe her aunt had just passed, and her aunt was her guardian. And so, we went in Dr. Hackett's office, me and her, we talked, and I said, well, what's your plan? And she said, I don't have one. And I said, okay, well, we started discussing different options. And she said, well, I think I want to go ahead and apply for the scholarship because my aunt really wanted me to go to college. And I said, well, let's do it. What's stopping you? It's only an application. And so we go online and we go to UAB because that's where she wants to apply. And then we get to the application fee. And so she didn't have the money. And so I paid her application fee and I told her that was her graduation gift from me. And so I remember like her just bursting into and so not only from that, I asked her, so what would you like to do when you graduate college? What's your plan? She said, I want to be an attorney. I'm not sure. So I called one of my mentors on the phone, District Attorney 𝗬𝙁 Washington. And I said, hey, I got this student here. She wants to go in law enforcement. Can we provide her with an internship next semester? And DA Washington told me to call her assistant, let's make it happen. And so from that conversation, she had applied for college and she had an internship waiting on her. And maybe about a month later, she texted me this long message and was just like, I really appreciate you. I want to let you know I got accepted into UAB. So she should be a sophomore. But she got accepted, and for her, she really felt like her aunt's hand was in this, and it was truly a blessing to be able to just be a part of that and to show her other opportunities that are available for her.
That is great. I love that story. I love when our children see that there is hope, even when they think there's no hope, and us giving it to them, and not taking away from our kings, because I love our kings, but to see our women give our young, especially our other young women, hope. I just absolutely love that. I love that. Love that. Thank you. That was a great story. What's your next one?
Let's see. I've had a couple waterworks stories where, I've helped people get into these spaces and just the, oh my God moments. I didn't even know that this was here. And, thank you. I remember meeting with a female attorney and, I brought her to the board. We have a panel of attorneys and we are intentional about making sure that panel looks like our community. So it's a minority panel. And so, she asked me, she said, why do you care? And I said, because we should. And, I said, we don't usually have spaces like this. And if I don't create spaces for Black women in these spaces, if I don't take advantage of that, then I'm doing a disservice. And so, I'm usually hit with, well, what can I do for you after you give somebody an opportunity? And I say, pay it forward. Do it for the next young Black woman. Remember where you were in this moment. Remember what it took you to get there. And remember why it's important for you to open the door and create spaces for another Black woman after you. And so that's usually my response.
Yes. I love that. Yes. And that you said, create a space for another Black woman. I love that. Yeah. And paying it forward. And that's what, us as Sister Queens, we do as well. Just paying it forward, whatever we can do to help the next person. And then whoever is helping that, pay it forward to the next person, because that's what we're here for. We are here to serve others. It's not always about self, and I know we all want to rise. We all want to be grand, but just giving back just makes you feel so good. Being there to help the next person, especially our young queens, it does everything for me. So, I think that's great. Thank you, Tereshia.
You're welcome. And I want to say this. I want to say this because I know a lot of people feel like paying it forward looks like creating an opportunity for the next person. It looks like that too, but it also looks like, look at your own team. Look at the work that you're already doing. Build your team to look like what you want community to look like. Don't place all of the responsibility on the businesses and the governments. You have a part to do it in your current role, on your job, and whatever that looks like. So if you are an attorney, you have a responsibility to build a team of Black women attorneys. Don't place that burden on everyone else. You have a part to play in it too. And that's what paying forward looks like as well.
I love that. Not depending on, and I totally agree with that. Stop depending on the government to do. You do.
Right.
And when you hear like, well, what are they doing to do whatever it may be? What is Birmingham doing to combat crime? Okay, of course they're going to do their part, but what are you doing? You
Right.
can't just look at them to handle situations. You have to do your part as well. So I
Absolutely.
totally agree with that. Yes, 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 yes. Do your part to give back. Because if we are all doing our part, it's even less for them to do. Because
Right.
we're making such a huge impact and such a huge difference. It's less for them to do. Not saying that anyone isn't doing this, but when we're monitoring and controlling our own children, we don't have to worry about somebody else monitoring and controlling our own children. Our children, because we're doing it,
Correct. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes. So we have to make sure we're doing our part before we ask someone else to do it. That goes for our help, asking our teachers to do all of this, the people in government, the police, whoever it may be, make sure we're doing our part first. And then it's even less for them to have to do. And then they have more to be able to do other things with.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. What we're going to do now is
Hey.
it's time for a giveaway. It's time for a giveaway.
Okay.
Okay, ladies, it's time to give away that first $25 gift card. So I need everyone to type hashtag local LOCAL in the comments. That's hashtag local for your name to be entered into the drawing, ladies. So let's get those hashtag locals in so we can see who will be the winner of our first $25 Sister Queen Visa gift card. So hashtag local. Get those in, ladies. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Twin. Thank you, Betty. Now, Betty, you already won one now.
She
Okay.
said
Thank
eggs
you.
and gas are high. She needs
Exactly. Hey, eggs are $25 a carton themselves. Thank you, Winnie. Thank you, Denise Devine, Tracy. Yes, lady, get those hashtag Alicia Lanier. Thank you. Thank you, Erica. Let's get those hashtag locals in. Hashtag LOCAL. Okay, ladies, we're going to go ahead and spin the wheel. Let's see who our winner is. And if you've already won, I'm going to spin past it and go to the next person. You know who you are. Yay! Rachelle Brooks Baskerville. You are the winner of our $25 Visa gift card. Yay! Thank you, Riri, for entering hashtag local into our comment section to be the winner.
Congratulations.
Okay. Yes, congratulations, Riri. Okay, let me go to the next question. What are some common misconceptions people have about advocacy and community work? That's the first part, and then I'll get to the second part.
I think one misconception that I hear is you will never be able to change what needs to be changed, and one person can't do it. And let me say this to the response to both: we'll never be able to change if that mindset remains. So that is true. And then two, one person can't do it, which is why it's necessary that we rally around different efforts, because I'm going to say what someone told me: one person can't chip away a brick wall, but if you have a group of people coming together to chip down that wall, it's going to fall. And so I believe that if people allow themselves to get more invested in coming up with solutions and stop the noise around problems, a lot of these problems would minimize or go away. And so I want people to understand that the value of one can bring the power of bringing hundreds and thousands more. And so maybe you're that one voice that can rally and organize more, but it has to start with changing the mindset and believing that you can work beyond yourself and you can bring people together for your effort.
Absolutely. Yes. Always think of bringing others together because like you said, when even in the Bible, it tells us about that when two or more
Yes,
come
more
together.
gathered. Right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So, if when we're hearing that, we have to think of that and do that and promote that even with others. If you're working with someone and then they're not the one, just go to someone else. That person may not be the person, but
Yeah.
don't let that stop you. Or you'll hear, well, I tried, but I wasn't able to get people to come along with me. But even when I started Sister Queens, I said, if I don't have 10 people in it, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to keep spreading positivity. I'm going to keep uplifting, encouraging, and motivating, regardless to whether it's a few or whether it's many. So, I'm just going to do it regardless. So ladies, don't let anything stop you from doing or achieving what you're trying to achieve. That's very good. Very good, Tereshia. Now, the second part of the question, how can we, people of color, because we are, this is Sister Queens and we are talking about Women's History Month. How can we, people of color, particularly our queens, do our part to create real change?
I think it starts with finding out what are you when you walk through your neighborhoods, when you walk through your schools, when you go on your job, what is that thing that frustrates you, that you take it home and that you can't sleep at night and it bothers you? That is something that you're passionate about changing. And so you take whatever that frustration or that thing is that is keeping you up at night. You create change by putting your efforts and coming up with solutions. And what I want to say, everyone's passion might not be the same, and that's okay. But where the passion is, you'll usually see the effort and the hard work go. And so if we're all rallying and eventually our passions will connect and they will cross, but you have to allow yourself first to get involved and emotionally, mentally, and physically invested in creating a solution for whatever that frustration or that problem is. And then finding people or creating spaces where people can join you in these efforts. But again, don't get discouraged by people saying, well, I'm not passionate. Eventually we will all connect and cross.
Yes, yes, I agree. I totally agree. I love that. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, the next question. Now, balancing advocacy, leadership, and a personal life isn't easy. So, how do you practice self-care while staying committed to your mission, or in your case, missions, because you do so much? How do you do that? How do you practice self-care?
I have to schedule it just like I schedule everything else. And so self-care is important to me, whether that's hair, getting my nails done, whether that's going to go get a massage, whether that's sitting on my balcony, journaling or blowing bubbles, whatever that looks like, whether that's making time for my friends, or, whoever else. I mean, I schedule it. If it's important to me, if it's important enough for me to write it, if it's important enough to me, I write it down. I treat it like, I don't want to say I treat it like work, but we don't miss appointments when it comes to work. We don't miss meetings when it comes to our work life. We don't miss. And if you're a mother, you're not missing your children's games or whatever. So you have to prioritize. I prioritize my self-care that same way. And so every month I have my self-care ways. I have things that I do as self-care. I have a self-care budget. And I make sure that I take advantage of it. And I don't let anyone, I don't move from it. I don't bend from what I want to do when it comes to my self-care.
That is good. And I agree with you. We make time for who and what we want to make time for. I always believe, and I know everybody gets busy. However, whatever is the priority for you, you're going to make time for it. Whether it's that person, whether it's that thing, whatever it is, you're going to make time for it. So, like you said, just take a moment, write it down, treat it like you said, not necessarily business, but an appointment that you have, and take care of self, because we want to do all of these grand things in our community, in our state, in our, government. We want to do all this for people, for the ones we love, or just the ones we're trying to help. But we've got to make sure we take care of ourselves as well.
Yes,
So,
yes.
yes, make
And I
time
don't
for
play.
yourself. Yes, yes.
I do
Make
not
time.
play. And I am big on turning my phone off and leaving it somewhere in walking distance so that I could just, if I want to just watch Netflix and chill by myself without any interruptions, that's what I'm going to do. And I don't care who's offended by
it. You have no problem saying no?
No problem saying no.
That no is a complete statement all by itself. No.
Right.
We talked about that last week with we had a healthcare advocate on, and she was telling us about that as well, saying no and not feeling like you have to apologize for it or feel guilty about saying no. So I think you have that down, huh?
I mean, I had to learn how to do it. But now I'm like, no, that doesn't work for me. No, I don't think so. I have no problem.
Let me ask you this. You do so much, not only in the community, but you're out and about too. So how do you, which I think is important as well, how do you find time to do the networking that you do as well? Because you do not only advocating, you do a lot of networking. So how do you schedule that into your time also?
You know, it's funny you say that, because if you ask the people in my world, in my spaces, in my friends, they will think I don't do it enough. They're like, Tereshia's not going to do that.
But you do.
I try to show up with things that are important to me, and not saying that all these events aren't important to me, but if I have to choose between studying, some me time, because my week has been busy, packed with meetings, and I just don't feel like being around people, I'm going to choose that. But I try to go towards the events that support me, and I try to support people in their events who have supported me. And so that's usually how I figure out whether or not I'm going.
Now, how important do you feel networking is?
Networking is huge. I think that a lot of times, I am blessed to be in the spaces that I've been able to. I don't take that for granted at all. And I think that when it comes to these spaces, sometimes these spaces can feel isolating. Power is, I call it perceived power, but it is isolating. You feel alone. You're torn between people wanting to pull on you because of what they think you can do for them, or people wanting to distance from themselves from you because they don't think you're supposed to be in the room that you're in. And so you fight with those two. It's constant. But what I have made myself be reminded, first of all, I know who I am and I know who I belong to. And if God said I'm supposed to be in these rooms, you're going to have to deal with it. So I'm going to stand up. I'm going to come to these rooms when I make time for it. But it's important that you link up with people who have walked your walk, who can shed some wisdom on you and introduce you and pull you into other rooms. And that's what networking allows. It's like a space of where you're no longer isolated, you're no longer alone, but it's also opportunities where people can introduce you into other rooms too, and introduce you to people who have walked similar walks of life.
Okay, just say if Susie, she doesn't know who these people are. She wants to network more, and she's trying to get more actively involved and meet the right people. How would you recommend that she does that?
If Susie wants to get in these rooms, Susie needs to find out what she's passionate about. That's one. So let's say Susie is passionate about education and wanting to change that. Susie needs to show up at these school board meetings where they're making decisions. Susie should be reading the school board agendas where huge decisions are being made. Susie should find events centered around education, whether that's a UNCF Gala or any other type of educational event. And Susie should move around in that room, letting people know, going up to people, building up that confidence, letting them know why education is important to her and what she looks forward to contributing to that cause. But you have to do your research, you have to build your confidence, and it takes a lot of prayer, because sometimes you'll get hit with no's, that you don't make the list to get invited, but you keep on showing up and your name will eventually end up on the list.
That's right, because they see it enough. They're going to be like, every time you turn around, I see Tereshia Huffman or Stephanie Handy. So,
right.
Yeah, we're going to let, and usually I'm in there because I'm taking pictures, but but yes, they see your name enough, it'll be like, okay, let me see what this person is
if this don't get her out my face, let me go ahead and get her this
Will they get enough emails or calls or text messages? Yes, they will. But let me tell you one thing I love about you when I see you enter those rooms. You enter those rooms not with confidence, but Godfidence. You
Okay,
walk in that room, baby. When I see my baby girl walk in there, you walk in there with that confidence, your head held high, you look good, you're moving around, you're doing your thing. I said, look at my girl over there moving around with that confidence. So, ladies, when you walk in there, you take God with you. So if you don't feel like you have the confidence, you know you have the Godfidence. So move in those rooms, ladies. Don't let fear stop you. You know, you will hear no, just like Tereshia said. You're not going to make all the list. You know, you're going to have to keep trying, but don't stop. Because if you really want to be there and that's really what you want to do, you're going to do everything in your power to get there.
And if you're supposed to be there, God is going to kick down the door for you to be there.
You better say it. He's going to kick down the whole door, the wall, with the windows and everything attached to it.
Absolutely.
Yes. So do not let fear stop you. Don't let them do it. Okay. One more time, ladies.
I'm wrong.
It's time for another giveaway. It's time for another giveaway. We are going to be giving away another $25 Sister Queen's Visa gift card. You know what you have to do, ladies. Go in there and type #local. That's #LOCAL. #local. I'm going to give you a few minutes. And then while you're typing that #local in, I'm going to look at some of your comments. Yes, Denise. Yeah, no is a complete statement. You don't even have to go through an explanation. Adrian, you're right. Self-care is important. And don't despise small beginnings. Thank you, Winnie. Yes, congratulations again, ladies, for the last person that was 𝗬𝙊 that won our first $25 gift card. Just want to make sure I'm covering all of your comments, or if you have any questions. Ladies, if you have any questions for the beautiful Miss Tereshia Huffman, make sure you put those in our comments and we will ask her. All right. We're going to go ahead and spin the wheel. Since you all have those #locals in there. All right, let's get started. Okay, let's see who that winner is going to be. Yes, yes. 𝘬𝙊 you are the winner of our second $25 Sister Queen Visa gift card. Congratulations, Gladys. Yes, yes. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Now, Tereshia, we're going to get to our last question for you.
Okay.
If you, Tereshia Huffman, could rally everyone listening and those that are going to listen later around one cause, just one cause today, what would it be? And then how can we take action right now? First, what would that one cause be?
Oh, it's so hard.
What would that one cause be that you would tell people right now you really need to rally around that?
Voting.
Okay. Okay.
Voting.
Love it. Yes. Yes.
Being informed and educated voters. Not allowing, I think, what this last election taught us, and regardless of how you voted, what it taught us is that you had one party who stood their ground on what they believed in, didn't care who it offended. And they knew how to speak to their demographic. And I think a lot of times, because sometimes with us, we'll either, if we don't feel like our voice won't make a difference, we stay home. But now that we realize the effects of voting, not voting, or voting another way, or not getting the results we get, now you see all the Facebook posts, and this is even, and I even look at people who voted for him. and you see all these Facebook posts about not realizing what DEI and how that trickles down to education and disabilities, and and other domino effect of the actions of you non-voting, or you voting, or you being a misinformed voter. But you have to get educated, and that starts with local elections all the way to the White House. You can't allow people to tell you how to vote, because only you know what's important to you. You know what's important to your household. You know what's important to your children, and you know what barriers that you face right now that will make a difference in the person who is the CEO of the government, the CEO of the county, whatever that is. And so you have to be involved, and you can't just sit at home and make Facebook posts because you're unhappy about change that you're not contributing to.
Yes, 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 yes. That is so true. Because when I hear that, it just boggles my brain. And
Yeah.
I feel too, if you didn't vote, I don't even want to hear your comment. Like, don't even tell me anything. If you could not take the time, I don't care if you had to stand in line 6 hours. If you could not take the time to go and make your voice heard, and don't tell me, well, it doesn't matter because we're in a red state, because you're not just voting on the federal level. You're voting on the local level. You're voting in your community. You're voting on the state level. So it does make a difference, regardless
Yes.
with us being. And if you don't go out, your voice is definitely not heard. So get out and vote. Absolutely. Get out and vote. So those that are saying, okay, I'm going to do that. What do I need to do to take that action right now?
Look at what elections are coming up this year. So we have right now the city elections coming up. Look
Mhm,
and see where your city council, are you pleased with the changes or what they're doing? How
mhm,
did they speak up in this presidential election? Were they silent, or did they come out and speak? Did they come out and rally again for the people that you wanted to look like you? Look at, your mayor. Are you pleased or unpleased? Whatever that may be, that choice may be, it's time for you to make those decisions now. But you also have school board elections. Ask yourself, are you pleased with the state of education for Birmingham City Schools or wherever you live? Get involved there. And then next year, we have the statewide elections that covers the governor, the state house. We have a super majority in Montgomery that's Republicans. And so if you're unhappy with Alabama being a red state, there are ways you can make changes right now in the upcoming elections. And so do your homework, find out what elections are coming up that impact your life. In Montgomery, they vote on money towards education. They vote on grocery taxes, all of these things. That look at what they voted on and see, where do you see yourself and how important that issue was to you, and see what was ignored. And if you're not happy, you need to be rallying people up to either replace those people, and then also identify good people who need to run. And that is the problem. Good people usually are scared to run or get in politics, but you
mhm.
need to rally around them and identify people, the change makers in your community, to replace some of those seats so that you have a voice at the table. And I mean, that's yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on that.
Girl, that was good. That was so good, because you're absolutely right. Make a change. Don't just sit back and complain. Make a difference. Your voice will be heard. Your voice will be heard. Never think your voice is not heard, because even if you're looking at the presidential race, and you're looking at the numbers, just say, if the ones that did not vote had voted, what a difference it could have made in the election, how it could have turned things around. So never think your voice will not be heard, because your voice is heard. But you've got to get out there and make your voice heard. And like Tereshia said, rally around those people that you think like, hey, I think you would make a great whatever, and
Right.
encourage others. And then the ones that are running, that you do think have the same values that you have, get behind them. See if they need any help, any volunteers, and any calls you can make, or just
Yes.
whatever. Yes, to help make a difference in your community, because you live here. And you can't complain about the potholes and the violence in your city when all you do is just Facebook, because Facebook isn't voting. So you
And
need to
only
get
vote for a president, right? That doesn't.
exactly, and only vote for president. Exactly. So you've got to get out and vote, ladies. And you got to
Every
vote.
election counts.
Every single election counts. You're absolutely right, Tereshia. Wow. So, ladies, do you have any questions for this beautiful queen? I'm going to give you a moment to get those typed in if you do, and I'm going to look over some of the comments that you have made. Winnie, you're absolutely right. Stop putting the same non-effective people in office. Tracy, you're right. Vote, vote, vote. Tell others. Take people to the polls. That's correct. Call your representatives and senators regularly. Don't be afraid. It's a phone call. Call them. Get and stay involved. Yes, yes. Jacqueline, I vote in every regular
That's
election.
right.
That's good because election do have consequences. Yes, yes. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, we've covered everything that we have in the comments. Ladies, do you have any questions for this beautiful queen? I'll give you a second. We want to make sure everything is answered, but she has just been so amazing in covering everything for us. You may not have any questions. You may not. You have been an awesome guest, Tereshia. I mean, it just absolutely awesome guest. So, ladies, no questions? All right, then. So, ladies, thank you again, Tereshia, for being our fourth guest for our Let's Talk Women's History Empowerment Month series. Your personal and community impact stories, plus your actionable strategies for change, truly added immense value to our show. We're extremely grateful for your time and your contribution. Congratulations also to the winners of our fantastic prizes.
I just want to say again,
yes.
I just want to say again, thank you for what you are doing. I mean, just having a platform, Sister Queens, where Black women can come and join together and have a voice. Like, you are a movement in yourself. And I hope that you don't underestimate the value that you bring, allowing Black women to come together, have questions, be able to network in this internet space with other Black women, and being able to have questions and get questions answered. Thank you, because we don't have enough women like you rallying us up together and making it a priority for us all to have a voice and to be one voice together. And we need more Black women like you. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just in doing it, it's just, I just love my queens. I absolutely love my queens. I'm going to fight for my queens to my very last breath. So thank you so much, Tereshia. And again, thank you so much for just coming on. You know, you're my baby girl. I love you so much. I
I love you
appreciate
too.
you. And if you want to connect with Tereshia on Facebook, she is Tereshia Huffman. And on Instagram, she is Tereshia Huffman. So hit her up if you have any questions on what we discuss. So, ladies, sister queens, we have a special treat for you this upcoming Thursday, and you don't want to miss it. So join us this Thursday, March 27th at 6 p.m. on the Let's Talk podcast as we sit down with State Representative and Mayoral Candidate 𝘬𝙊 𝙉𝙊𝙏. 𝘬𝙊 is a powerhouse advocate for change, and she's joining us to discuss the impact of local and state activism, leadership, and making a difference where it matters most. This is a conversation you need to hear. So tag your tribe, set your reminders, and get ready for a conversation that will inspire and empower. So thank you, ladies, so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us. We greatly appreciate you. Love you so much. And good night. Tell them good night.
Good night, y'all. Thank you.
Good night, ladies. Good night. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, ladies.